We are tiny lights that sparkle and glow in a world much bigger than we'll ever know. We are.
What I found to be the greatest aspect of conference life is the sense of concern for the body of Christ, and that's revealed through the work that the executive has done, through its policy making, and through its generous gifts to inspire ministry to happen and new leadership and the help the refugees and it just goes on from there, and so that's what I really appreciate about conference.
Toronto Conference has been like a playlist. So I'm up at Queensville Hall and Landing United Church. It's my first call, and it's a far drive, and I have a playlist every month. And I just bathe in the sound, and some of the music that I hear it's comforting, and some of it's challenging, some of it makes me think. And so here I am now, in the midst of this change, even though I've just arrived. And it reminds me of when the playlist has to change. It just has to change. It doesn't mean that the music is going to stop playing. It just means that there's going to be some change. And I'm just feeling really fortunate to be able to continue to bathe in the sound that has nurtured and nourished me.
Conference was a very good liaison place. We didn't always agree, and I'm sure many were wondering where I was coming from, but there was respect and honor to the work of social justice, reconciliation, and what was needed to happen. Most times the support was there. We had many successful events.
One of the saddest times for me was when I presided at Carol Garrick, the president of Toronto Conference before me. David Allen and I presided at her funeral, and that was pretty tough. It was a hard time, and I know all of us miss Carol and were really sad when she died.
One of the things that I think was most important that happened, at least during the time that I was a part of Toronto Conference, was a change in how we saw ourselves. And part of it relates to money. So at a very early time, there was a point when Toronto Conference, because of a variety of reasons, essentially didn't have any money. We couldn't pay some of our bills. And some of the other conferences in Ontario picked us up, and I've always remembered that. And then within a few years, because of church closures and property sales, suddenly Toronto Conference became very rich, and compared to other conferences. And what struck me about that was that we had only become wealthy because of an accident of geography, and that with the wealth came a responsibility about how we would use that money. And so over time, and it didn't happen overnight, but over time, I think we came to see ourselves as people who had a responsibility to other parts of the church. And I feel really proud of that.
And for I was a young woman and a young mother at that time, and I also felt the support of the church in responding to my need and the needs of others of my generation for childcare at the conference annual meetings, and eventually for childcare at the General Council, and so felt that I both was heard and also was able to open space for more women in my kind of life place to be engaged in those levels of the church. Going to be, I'm certainly part of the generation that feels it's a great risk to lose these courts, but also confident to be led in new places.
Toronto Conference has been a home to me, and for me it's a place I found safety and home, especially when I sensed the call of God upon me. I found the United Church as the church or the home God is inviting me to minister through. And my home came as a result of being part of Toronto Conference. It has been a place I've come to love, appreciate it, and I'm learning a lot from my involvement with the Toronto Conference. thank God for Toronto Conference. Amen.
We are tiny lights that sparkle and glow in a world much bigger than we'll ever know. We are tiny lights shining so bright in a world we know is gonna be alright. Yeah, we know the world is gonna be alright. 'Cause we got all these tiny lights.